Hey guys. This is Dark Side of the Ring review. The mysterious death of gorgeous Gino Hernandez. Before I get into that, I have a little bit of news. I don't know where it's going to lead, but Christopher Daniels had a match with Jon Moxley, which he lost. They shook hands. And backstage, Jon Moxley attacked the fallen angel, throwing him repeatedly into the lockers. I don't know if this means there's going to be some kind of feud. I don't know where it's going, but this was just this past week on Rampage, so we'll have to see. I don't have access to Rampage. I wish I did. I wish I could see my match, but I don't and I can't. So, I'll have to look for it. Wonder if it's on Honor Club. Oh, and by the way, my Peacock, my Ancestry, my Amazon, everything is all set. My Peacock wouldn't take the card, regardless. So I had to put the Peacock on my other debit card. Right now, I'm getting ready to watch Bruiser Brody for a second time to take some notes. Gino Hernandez, born Charles Wolfe. He was amazing on the microphone. He was, as his name stated, gorgeous. I clearly remember when he died, because I was 12 years old. Actually, he died in February. I was 11 and a half years old. Exactly, because he died February 4th. And my birthday is August 4th. But I remember it very clearly. His stepdad was a wrestler named Luis Hernandez. He died when Gino was 12. He was on a wrestling tour of Japan. Don't know the story behind it, but I have no doubt that Gino would have been a huge star. He would have been a World Heavyweight Champion. He would be a Hall of Famer. He should be a Hall of Famer. He had the Dynamic Duo tag team with Chris Adams. He also tag teamed with Tully Blanchard early in his career. Some people said, oh, he must be Bosch's illegitimate son because Paul Bosch cares so much about him and pushed him, you know. No, I think Bosch saw the talent, the ability. His father's name, like his, was Charles Wolfe. But his mom was 16 when she had him. She raised him. Didn't have a lot of relationship with his dad. His dad, turns out, was a security guard at the wrestling events, but didn't know that Gino was his son because he didn't use his name. But his name was in his obituary, and he saw that and contacted his mom. Gino used his stepfather's last name. I guess he used it in life as well as in the ring because he raised him. I guess he hung around a very tough crowd in Houston, you know, because he used drugs and this was no secret. So he hung around with dealers. Where do you get drugs? Dealers. That makes sense. He had 2 daughters. He and his wife divorced. She was very worried about, you know, the kind of crowd he hung around with and stuff. One time he stated to David Manning, who was a referee and booker for World Class, that he found a man in his back seat, slammed on the brake, and the man jumped out. He swore the man was going to kill him, and he wanted a gun. And he told David Manning repeatedly that he was being stalked, he was afraid he would be killed, and like I said, wanted a gun. When Gino died, referee Rick Hazard found his body. And there was a gun there. Manning did not know where it came from because he didn't have one for him. Paul Bosch made a beautiful statement about Gino at the time of his death. The man that for years his mom believed killed him came to her home and paid for the funeral after, according to his mother, saying he owed him a lot of money. This man, much later on, was contacted by the production when he got out of jail after spending 30 years in there for drug dealing. He said, Gino didn't owe me money. And he sounded very sincere. And evidently the mother believed him because there was a whole 40 minutes they played for her. He said, yes, I paid for his funeral. Yes, I spoke. Yeah, I was a drug dealer. But no, Gino didn't owe me money. And both him and Gino's friend, who got into low-level dealing with Gino because it was a quick way to make a buck. This guy wasn't a gangster, and he said that. Also said, no, I feel terrible that the family for 30 years has been scared to death of something they shouldn't have been afraid of. So neither one of those men want to hurt his family. There were a bunch of men drinking champagne, breaking glasses on Gino's coffin, and celebrating Gino. Now, I just felt horrible for Gino's family witnessing this, but at the same time, it's possible that these people were doing this because it was part of their culture. I know the Irish culture is like that, so you never know. An interesting thing that didn't come out in the original episode, I want to find more of the Dark Side of the Ring Confidential episodes because man, oh man, there was a lot more in that. For instance, his mother would go to the shows, of course, and she met Jimmy Snuka. Started dating Jimmy. She ended up marrying Jimmy. She was married to him for 10 years. She was actually married to him during the time he's said to have killed Nancy Argentina. She said, he was around my daughter. Her daughter was much younger than Gino. She said, he was never anything but gentle to us and kind. She said, so it would have been interesting to stick that clip into the Jimmy Snuka episode, you know, for a different viewpoint. But what was really interesting was that Jimmy's mom came over from Fiji. I guess she was a beautiful woman, to meet Patricia. And so Patricia had her dad over, and nobody in her family really liked Jimmy. They didn't feel at ease with him at all. But her dad became completely smitten with Jimmy's mother. And like the third day he knew her, because they were going out and they were having fun, you know, his daughter himself and her future mother-in-law. He asked his daughter's future mother-in-law to marry him, which she did, and I guess they stayed married for the rest of their lives. It's just funny because your dad marries your mother-in-law. Okay. Where you going to dinner? My father and mother-in-law's. Because my dad married my husband's mother. I just thought that was so interesting. I guess they, like I said, they stayed together. Everybody. One of the things that stuck out to me at the time of his death was that he had cocaine in his stomach. Now, the producers of the episode are saying that things go to your stomach after you die. No, I'm sorry. Something you breathe into your lungs, like cocaine that you sniff and breathe into your lungs, it's going to be in your bloodstream, but it's not going to be in your stomach. I'm sorry. I think I know a little bit more about that stuff than you guys do. It also said that he was, well, the autopsy report stated he was obese. And they said, well, you got to remember he was decomposing, so he would have looked obese. No, they would have known the difference between gas bloat from decomp and obesity. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry. And another part of the autopsy report said he wasn't circumcised, but he was. That's not going to change after death either. So, yeah, I got issues with that. Oh, and it said he was Hispanic, but I can forgive him that because they probably didn't realize that Luis Hernandez was not, that Hernandez was not his biological name. I don't know how else to put it. I think there needs to be an exhumation and a second autopsy. I do believe that a lot of his paranoia came from the use of cocaine because cocaine causes paranoia. It's one of the side effects of the drug. And I think that they should have mentioned that. Police didn't find any drugs, but David Manning says that Rick Hazard dumped a bowl of coke down the toilet. Now, Jeannie, the ex-wife of Chris Adams and the ex-wife of Steve Austin, said that she had seen this bowl. It was about the size of a cereal bowl of coke. As mentioned, Gino also dealt drugs. The night that it's believed that Gino probably died based on the decomp, hold that thought. Battery change. The man who paid for the funeral, John Royal, said, I was probably with him the night he died. We were out partying that night. We were at a club. We were drinking a lot. And using coke. And he left the club about 1 a.m. with two, they call them stewardesses, but they're called flight attendants these days. And out of respect, that's how I'll refer to them. And it is believed, like I said, based on the autopsy that was the night, early morning that he died. Baby Doll was asked when she was doing a later episode, which I don't know what episode she was, I can't remember, but asked about, oopsie, Gino's death, and she believed he was murdered. I tend to believe that is likely the case, because it was in his stomach. And I'm sorry, but no, it wouldn't just go to your stomach. That doesn't make any sense biologically. You inhale cocaine into your lungs through your nose. Will some of it go down the other tube and end up in your tummy? Yeah, maybe a little bit. But, and how did he get as much as was in his system? That doesn't make sense. The deadbolt wasn't locked. And as pointed out by Baby Doll, in the autopsy photos, there was a pack of cigarettes on the table. This was something Gino despised. She said even if they were the most gorgeous woman, he wouldn't allow cigarettes in his house. It was something that nobody else took notice of, apparently. So, my opinion, I think that it is likely he was killed or, I don't know, doing something dumb and like ate a bunch of it. I don't know why you would do that, but that's my opinion. I highly recommend that you watch the Dark Side of the Ring Confidential, because it's a much more in-depth look at the episode. I'm about to watch Bruiser Brody. It's not the Confidential, unfortunately, but that's what I'm going to watch. I'm going to go eat. I'm going to watch Bruiser Brody. Then I'm going to get these in editing so that I can work on Kid Missing. So we're only going to have 2 videos today. Thank you guys so much. God bless you. Please click that subscribe button. Please share these videos with all your wrestling fan friends. And I will see you tomorrow. Please subscribe. Thank you so much. And click that bell. Bye-bye.